Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? This time we're taking a closer look at the Gin framework.
Oh, nice.
It's popular in Go web development, right?
Definitely, yeah.
But we're going beyond just like the basics of routes and handlers.
Okay.
We're going to kind of explore the design patterns, those best practices that Gin bakes in,
Mm-hmm.
almost like, I guess you could say it guides you to build better Go web apps.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. It's like Jin has this philosophy embedded in the code.
I like that.
It encourages you to think about web development in a very particular way.
Almost like a Go way of doing things.
Exactly. A go way, you got it.
I love that. So everyone always talks about Gin being lightweight,
Right.
minimal boilerplate, all that.
Sure.
But for someone coming from other frameworks, why does that even matter in Go?
Well, I think it matters because Go itself is all about simplicity and clarity.
Right.
Less is more, that sort of philosophy.
Yeah.
Jin really takes that to heart. So instead of having to write tons of setup code, it lets you focus on what matters,
Okay.
like the core logic of your application.
So it's handling the plumbing for you so you can focus on more important things.
Exactly. You focus on the important stuff, I'll handle the plumbing.
Okay, so saving a few lines of code, sure, but it's more about that mindset,
Yes.
keeping things clean, focused.
Yeah, it's that Go ethos,
Yeah, I see how it fits in, but how does that play out in a simple Hello World example?
Even with Hello World, you can see the difference.
Yeah.
You can have a server up and running in just a few lines of code.
Wow, so it's that simple.
Yeah, it's really concise.
Okay.
No complex configuration, no unnecessary abstractions.
So you can immediately see how it values just getting straight to the point.
Exactly, straight to the point. You got it.
All right, so we have this minimalism,
Mm-hmm.
but web apps, of course, get complex.
Oh, yeah, they do.
So how do you manage that with Gin and not have it be, a huge mess?
So that's where Jin's routing and middleware system comes in.
Okay.
It's not just features, it encourages modular design.
Mm-hmm.
So Jin's routing, you can break down your application into smaller, self-contained pieces.
Okay.
Each route has a specific handler function.
Right.
So instead of one massive handler, you have these smaller units of code.
Oh, I see. So it's like encouraging you to build these separate pieces.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then middleware fits perfectly into this.
Oh, okay.
You can think of it as like each request goes through a journey.
Okay.
Middleware defines steps along that journey.
Oh, interesting.
So it could be things like authentication, logging,
Hmm.
or custom logic.
So middleware is a lot more than I originally thought then.
It is. It is. You have those built-in middleware for common tasks,
Right.
but you can write your own.
Oh, so it's very customizable.
Exactly. Very customizable.
Okay.
Like if you need to validate an API key, you can write a middleware for that. Apply it to specific rates, and boom, you have a really clean solution.
That's cool. That's a really elegant way to do that.
It is.
So we have modularity through the routing and middleware.
Mm-hmm.
But web development, there's always things that can go wrong.
Oh, absolutely. Errors everywhere.
So how does Gin handle the inevitable errors?
Error handling is crucial. You're right. Often overlooked.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right?
It is. And Jin builds on Go's error handling mechanisms.
Okay, so it's not reinventing the wheel.
No.
It's building on what Go already does.
Exactly. It provides a more structured way to handle those errors, though.
So instead of those errors bubbling up and potentially crashing your app,
Right.
it's encouraging you to deal with them gracefully.
Exactly. Catch them early, handle them appropriately. Yeah.
So your app stays stable.
Yeah, even when things go wrong.
Okay.
And it ties in with that modularity we were just talking about.
Oh, how so?
You can handle errors at different levels.
No.
Within specific handlers, within middleware, or globally.
So you have options.
You do. You have options. You choose the approach that works best for you.
This is making me think about data validation then.
Okay, yeah.
Because web apps are constantly getting data from outside.
All the time, yeah.
And you can't always trust that, right?
Right.
So how does that play into Jin's design?
You hit the nail on the head. Data validation is critical.
Yeah.
And Jin makes it easy to build that into your application.
Okay.
It uses Go's struct tags to define validation rules.
Wait, hold on. Struct tags for validation. I use those for, like, database stuff.
Right, right.
But how does that work for validating data?
It's clever. You can define tags like binding required or binding email
Oh,
to say that a field is required or it has to be a valid email.
interesting.
And Jin enforces those rules when it gets data.
So it's like, I don't know, it's like a bouncer at the door of your application,
Aha, that's a good one.
checking if everything's good before it can come in.
I like it. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a whole security system.
Okay. You're setting clear expectations for the data,
Okay.
making your app more robust.
All right, so it prevents unexpected behavior.
Exactly. And potential security issues, too.
This is interesting. I'm starting to see how this all ties into, like, the bigger picture of Gin,
Right.
this idea of robust and predictable applications.
Exactly.
But we can't talk Go without talking about performance, right?
Sure.
Go is fast, and Gin takes advantage of that.
Absolutely.
But how does it actually do that?
That's a good question because it doesn't just rely on Go's inherent speed.
Okay.
It actively amplifies it.
Interesting.
So one of the key ways it does this is by using Go's concurrency features.
Right.
Go routines and channels.
Okay.
Those are the magic ingredients for handling multiple tasks.
So it's not just doing things quickly.
Right.
It's doing lots of things quickly all at the same time.
Exactly. That's it.
Right.
Think of a website with thousands of requests per second.
Right. Gin makes it easy to use Go's concurrency to handle those efficiently.
Oh, wow.
You can use Go routines, channels, and Gin manages all of that for you.
This is amazing. So Gin is like a performance coach for Go web development,
Haha, I like that.
helping you write code that's fast and can handle a lot of users.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
That's awesome.
It is. And you know what's even cooler? It does all of this while keeping things simple. It does. And you know what's even cooler? It does all of this while keeping things simple. You don't have to be a concurrency expert to write high-performance Go web apps with Gin.
It makes it easier.
Just feels natural.
Yeah. So Gin isn't just giving you the tools.
Right.
It's showing you how to use them effectively.
Yeah.
It's like this underlying philosophy of not just making web development easier, but making it better.
Absolutely.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, it's not just about writing code that works. It's
Right.
about writing code that's elegant, efficient, maintainable.
Right.
And Gin kind of encourages you to embrace those principles.
From the beginning.
Right from the start.
I'm curious how this philosophy manifests in Gin's approach to error handling.
Okay.
We talked about it a bit before.
Yeah.
But error handling, that's where things can get messy in web apps.
It is. You're right. Error handling, it's so important. And Gin leverages Go's built-in error handling, like we talked about.
Right.
But it takes it a step further by encouraging you to handle those errors gracefully and thoughtfully
Okay.
within your web application.
How does it do that specifically?
Well, think about a typical web request,
Okay.
how it flows through a Gin application.
Okay.
It hits a route,
Right.
goes through some middleware, reaches a handler function,
Mm-hmm.
eventually generates a response.
Okay.
Gin gives you ways to catch errors at every stage of this journey.
So instead of just, having the errors bubble up and crash the whole app,
Yeah.
you can intercept them at different points
You got it.
and handle them appropriately.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So I can choose to handle an error within a specific handler if it's something that's localized to that.
Right. If it's a very specific thing.
Yeah.
But if it's a more general error, maybe across multiple routes,
Yeah.
you can handle it in middleware.
Oh, I see.
Keeps your code cleaner.
Right. So your logic is separate.
Exactly.
This makes a lot of sense. It's like having a safety net
It is.
at each level.
Yeah.
So even if one part messes up, the whole thing doesn't crash.
Exactly. You prevent a total meltdown.
And this ties back to that modularity thing.
Absolutely.
Right.
It does. It's that same idea, breaking down complex problems into smaller pieces.
So it's not just error handling as like a technical thing.
Right.
It's about doing it in this way that fits into Gin's whole philosophy.
Yes. Clean, structured code. You got it.
You nailed it. It's about like thinking about the whole application
Yeah.
and making sure even error handling is part of that structure.
Exactly. Thinking holistically about your design.
This has been really insightful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to see Gin in a new light.
Good.
All these features are connected, contributing to like a better way of building applications.
That's the beauty of it. It's a cohesive ecosystem.
Not just a bunch of tools thrown together.
It is designed to guide you.
It's like, I don't know, it's like Gin saying, hey, I trust you to build awesome things,
Yeah.
but here's some, I don't know, guardrails
Yeah, some
to
guidelines.
keep you on track
Exactly.
and help you write good code.
Yeah, write code you can be proud of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for someone listening who's maybe just starting with Gin,
Okay.
what advice would you give them to like start applying all this?
I would say the best way to learn is by doing,
Okay.
just build something, anything.
So don't worry about theory too much.
Yeah, dive in, start experimenting.
Just get your hands dirty.
Yeah. And as you're building, pay attention to how Gin guides you,
Right.
how it encourages you to structure your code,
Interest.
how its routing and middleware help you break down complexity,
Yeah.
and how its error handling makes things more robust.
It's like treating Jin not as just a framework, but like a mentor,
Yeah, like a guide.
showing you the way.
Yeah, I like that.
And I imagine as you get more comfortable,
Right.
you can start doing more advanced things, like
Yeah, like using Go routines and channels.
for like really high performance stuff.
Exactly. But don't feel like you need to learn everything at once.
Take it slow.
Start with the basics, get a feel for it, and then expand your knowledge.
Jin is good for both beginners and like experts.
It is. It's very versatile.
And the best part is you're not just learning Jin,
Right.
you're learning Go.
You are. Those principles apply to any Go project.
That's awesome.
It is. It's powerful stuff.
It is. So by understanding Jin's design patterns,
Yeah.
you're not just using a tool.
Right.
You're learning a new way to think about building applications.
Absolutely. A more elegant way.
I like how you put that, unlocking a new way of thinking.
Yeah.
It's not just the code, it's the mindset.
It is. And that mindset is what makes Go such a great language to work with.
Well said. I think that's a perfect way to transition to our final thoughts
Okay.
about Jin and its impact on the Go world. Okay, so we've talked a lot about Jin's philosophy, but how does that actually impact the Go development landscape?
That's a great question.
Is it just about making web development easier? Or is there something like deeper happening?
It's interesting because Jin is both opinionated and flexible.
Okay.
It has this clear philosophy about how Go web apps should be built,
Right.
but it never feels restrictive.
Okay, so it's not like forcing developers to do things a certain way.
No, not at all.
It's more about like providing best practices.
Yeah,
right?
a framework, a set of guidelines.
And they can then adapt.
Exactly, adapt to their own needs.
And by doing that, is it like raising the bar for Go web development overall?
I think it is.
Because it's getting people to think more about modularity,
Yes.
error handling, performance,
Well, important.
even in projects outside of Jin.
Absolutely.
So learning Jin isn't just about like knowing this one framework, right? It's about picking up these principles.
Yeah, it's a way of thinking.
That can help you in any Go project.
Exactly.
It's like Jin's a gateway drug to good Go programming habits.
I love that.
Once you see how clean and structured code can be,
You're spoiled.
you don't want to go back.
No, you don't.
So for Go developers who haven't tried Jin yet, what would you say to convince them?
I'd say don't think of Jin as just another web framework. It's an opportunity to improve your Go skills.
Level up.
Yeah, level up. Discover a better way to build web apps.
Like stepping into a whole new world of Go,
It is, kinda.
where everything is clean and simple and performant.
Yeah, those are the core principles.
Awesome. Well, I think that's a great place to wrap up our deep dive
Sounds good.
into the Jin framework.
Yeah.
Hopefully this has sparked some curiosity
So.
and given you a glimpse into this elegant world of Go web development with Jin.
And remember, the best way to understand it is to try it out.
Build something.
Yeah, build something cool and see how Jin helps you.
Let it guide you.
Exactly.
Until next time, happy coding.